Hey everyone, welcome back to the weekly webinar. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm so excited that you've joined us today. I am Dr. Paula, and each week I will be going over health-related topics, tips, and/or testimonials at the office. So today, I want to focus on something that chiropractors refer to as the 3 T's, all right? So if you are a practice member at Adio Chiropractic, let's go back to your first visit with us. Maybe it was in this room where I am right now, or maybe your appointment was just yesterday, or maybe you are a future practice member who is just waiting to come in. But on your first visit, we love to make our practice members feel welcomed, and we want them feeling great when they leave. And so we may have touched on those 3 T's during your visit, but today I really want to go into more detail on how it's so connected and why being aware of what these 3 T's are not just important for chiropractic, but how they can help you prevent dis-ease in your body and just promote good health in your life. Now, you guys are coming into the office. Dr. Galen and I are looking for this specific condition called subluxation, right? And so subluxation, in other words, is a misalignment in your bones, most commonly in your spine, that causes nerve dysfunction. And so when there's an interference between the bones and the nerves, that is impacting the way that your brain is communicating to the rest of your body. Subluxation can do that. You know, it's very important to have a well-connected relationship from the way that your brain is communicating down to your body. And so this is going to help us out today. So this is our lovely spine. Everybody has one of these, right? And as you can see, these yellow things down here, these are nerves, and there's a ton of them, and each of them are connected to a certain segment on the spine. And so, like I mentioned, with subluxation, when there's a misalignment in your spine, that is causing nerve pressure and irritation, and it's not sending the signals from up here down as strong as it would if it was connected, right? So our job, Dr. Galen and I, are looking for those areas of stress and subluxation so that we can move that bone back into place and have that nerve functioning at its optimal level, because then it is well connected with a clear pathway for those signals. So now the real question is, what causes those subluxations? And this is what I'm talking about today. Those are when the 3 T's come into play, all right? So when I say 3 T's, I know I've said them a lot so far, but those refer to as thoughts, trauma, and toxins, okay? So let's break those thoughts, trauma, and toxins down. Let's talk about thoughts right now, all right? So every day we are filled with thoughts, right? From the moment you wake up to the moment you're trying to go to sleep at night, right? And so mental and emotional stress highly impacts our health, and whether it's negative or positive, that is impacting that role on the way that we see our reality. And fun fact, our thoughts actually affect our posture, right? And so whether we're thinking about what we're gonna do tomorrow, what we're gonna do today, that's considered stress, you know? Those thoughts are creating this reality that we see in our life, and our body language is very correlated to the way that we think. For example, a lot of the times when we are stressed out, our shoulders tend to roll, or we clench our jaw because we're so stressed, or we get a headache because we keep thinking and thinking and thinking. And eventually we just start to slouch, and then our body thinks that's normal because it's under this environment of high levels and factors that are really affecting the way that we think. But then when we think about it, our bodies were really just made to be in full expression, right? And by full expression, I mean the spine feels good when you're extending yourself, right? Think about it. When we are confident and filled with good energy, our body language tends to stick out more, and we're just ready to have a conversation or ready to perform whatever it is that we're doing. So we need to be aware of the thoughts that we are feeling in our mind, because when we change our thoughts, it begins to rewire parts of our brains in the way that we think, whether it's creating new patterns or behaviors. They're just going to manifest into your physical symptoms depending what you're feeding yourself, right? And so thoughts Thoughts are related to your posture 100%. And let's move on to number 2, trauma. So subluxations can occur through micro trauma. Believe it or not, if you're crossing your leg every day, that can cause your bone to shift, right? And for men out there, sorry guys, you can't really see this, but if you're having your wallet on your back pocket and you're sitting down, I'm going to use this actually so you guys can see it, your pelvic starts to shift like that, right? As you can see, that affects the whole chain of your body. So every day if you're sitting on a wallet or something in your back pocket, you're not even noticing it, but you're starting to create those misalignments in your body, right? And so those are just a couple micro traumas that come into my head right now. And even if you sneeze or you cough or you bend out over to reach something, that can also be another cause for your trauma. So it's very important to be aware of our movement with our bodies. And I'm going to move forth from micro trauma to now macro trauma. So macro trauma is something that is the most common thing to think about when we're trying to think about subluxations or how did our bones move out of place, right? So that includes car accidents or physical injuries or sports injuries or any falls or hits to your head. Any damage directly to your body is considered a macro trauma. And so with those two types that I just mentioned, our body begins to adapt just like it does to our thoughts and just like it does to toxins, which I'll get to in just a second. Finding the root cause of that disease is the key to healing, you know? And so that is trauma in a nutshell. Okay, let's move forth to toxins, okay? So number 3 is toxins. So also everything that we're consuming is affecting the way that our body is functioning, right? And believe it or not, the things that we also consume cause subluxations, and whether it's the food that we eat or the beverages that we drink, the air that we're breathing, all of those are potential factors that cause physiological imbalance in our body. And when there's physiological imbalance, that causes and affects our nervous system functioning. And it's so important to be aware of those nutrition choices that we make daily, because just like that saying, you are what you eat, it's true, because it doesn't just show physically, but it also shows internally with the way that our body is working and the way that our body is moving. And moving forth too, the quality of the water or the quality of the air that we're breathing, whether there's air pollution outside or not, that can also lead to damage in your cells, in your tissues, in your brain. So there we have it. We have thoughts, trauma, and toxins. And I wonder if I got that down in 3 minutes. I'm not sure, but if you guys are still watching, thank you for tuning in. Our goal here is to really help you and your body function at its optimal level by addressing those 3 T's and addressing those subluxations and making sure that we have this opportunity to restore that nervous system, right? So last thing I will leave you guys to is just think about it, okay? How your nervous system function determines your quality of life. And I hope you guys learned something from this episode. And as always, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Send me an email at drpaula@adioaz.com and I will gladly get back to you. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you at the next weekly webinar or at your next visit at Adio Chiropractic. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day and take care.